Have you ever stopped to think, really think, about how our actions, even small ones, or things from way back, how they might ripple outwards, not just in our own lives, but maybe affecting the people closest to us in really profound ways? Like, could those ripples actually show up as, say, a chronic illness or disability someone lives with their whole life, or maybe even influence when someone lives or dies? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going, well, really deep into an extraordinary case study. We've got some incredibly detailed source material here. It's a personal account from a family facing just immense challenges, loss, disability, disease, and it's all seen through this fascinating lens of karmic connections based on the insights of a great teacher. So our mission today is to unpack these family stories. We'll explore the questions someone in the family asked, trying to understand the karma behind why their loved one suffered so much. And we'll look at the answers given, which are often surprisingly direct, sometimes quite stark. This isn't just theory, It's really a journey into seeing how our choices, right now and in past lives, seem to weave the actual fabric of our lives. You're about to hear some, frankly, eye-opening stuff about how interconnected things are, how actions manifest in ways you might never expect.
Absolutely. And the level of detail in these sources, that's what makes this so compelling, I think. We're not talking vague ideas here. We're seeing what's described as the precise mechanics of karmic law. Specific actions leading to specific illnesses or mental states, even what happens right after death. It's quite granular.
That specificity really sets it apart. So let's start with the father in this story. His life began in mainland China. He worked for a bit in Vietnam, then came to Thailand with his brothers looking for a better life, essentially. And it was hard work from the start. He actually began by selling cigarettes right outside an opium den.
Which, it's important to note, the source mentions was legal at that particular time.
Right, context matters. But life threw some major challenges his way early on. His first wife died during childbirth, twins, and tragically, one of those twins also passed away young. Just heartbreaking. He did remarry, and his second wife is the mother of the person who submitted this case to the teacher. So after about 10 years selling cigarettes, he switched to running a food business.
But he continued selling alcohol and cigarettes there, too, and he did that for about another 20 years.
Yeah, that detail seems important. What about his personality? The sources paint a picture.
They do. He's described as incredibly hardworking, up late, rising early, a real grafter, but also prone to anger, quick-tempered. And interestingly, he rarely made merit himself. Others tended to do it for him, like on his birthday, that sort of thing.
So a mix of diligence and a certain temperament.
Exactly. And that combination, the actions and the state of mind, seems crucial for understanding what happened next, according to the teacher's analysis.
Which was incredibly tough. At 60, he had to stop working because of intense stomach pain. Then, just 2 years later, 62, diagnosed with stomach cancer. 2 surgeries followed, but he passed away at 63. Given the precision you mentioned, what did the teacher reveal? What were the karmic roots of the cancer and his fate?
Well, the teacher's insights point to a kind of dual karma acting here, the stomach cancer specifically. It was linked to actions from both a past life and his current one, and amplified by that irritable nature you mentioned.
Okay, so how did that break down?
In a past life, described as an agricultural setting, he got into a really bitter argument with a neighbor. And in a fit of rage, he poisoned their animals, their livestock, chickens, pigs, killed quite a few of them.
Wow. Okay.
Then, in his present life, he continued accumulating sort of similar karmic patterns. Running his restaurant, he was involved in killing animals for food. Standard practice, maybe, but still in action. And he also regularly used poison, for pests like rats and cockroaches around his place.
Ah, so the poisoning theme repeats.
Exactly. And the source is very clear. These actions, past and present, combined with his tendency towards anger and irritability, those were the direct causes contributing to the stomach cancer.
That's such a stark example of specific cause and effect, even across lifetimes. But what about after he passed? The sources mention a very dark experience immediately after death.
They do. Because of the weight of those actions, selling alcohol, cigarettes, the killing his mind state at death was apparently very negative, very clouded. He was immediately drawn, the source says, to Mahan Narak Kum 5. That's understood in this tradition as the 5th major hell realm.
Okay.
And the description of his experience there is, well, it's intense. He appeared as this huge, dark, almost mountain-like figure, and he was being tormented constantly by neuriable beings, often called hell wardens.
What were they doing?
They were described as physically pulling cigarettes out of his stomach, causing him to vomit this black, acidic fluid. Horrific. And then That would alternate with being sliced, chopped, stabbed with massive knives. Just a relentless, agonizing cycle.
That's terrifying. And the merit his family sent.
Did it help? According to the teacher, because the negative karma was so severe, the merit hasn't actually reached him yet. It's waiting. It's accumulated in what's called yamaloka, sort of a cosmic holding area for merit. And to actually get that merit through to him requires, the source says, special methods, which points towards needing specific Dhammakaya knowledge, a kind of deep spiritual insight into how these things work to effectively help him.
Incredibly sobering. It really drives home how serious the consequences can be. Let's shift to another really sad story in the family. The fourth child, a daughter. She was sick very often and died when she was only 2 years old.
Yeah, a terribly short life. And the explanation for this from the teacher connects back to a truly shocking past life. In that previous life, this individual who died at 2 was actually the primary wife in a household with multiple wives.
Okay, a polygamous situation.
Right. And when one of the minor wives had a child, this primary wife became consumed by jealousy, just overwhelmed by it. And this jealousy led her to form a plan to kill the baby.
Oh my goodness.
The method was described as particularly cruel. She slowly poisoned the infant. She would secretly add tiny amounts of venom to the baby's food over time, all while pretending to be loving and caring towards the child, doting on it.
That's horrific.
It is. The baby gradually got weaker and weaker and eventually died. And the teacher explained that this specific terrible karma has trapped her in a cycle. The source uses the phrase born, died, repeating over many, many lifetimes. And apparently she's still caught in that cycle now.
Just devastating to think about being trapped like that. Okay, let's move to the second child, the son. He's faced really persistent, severe health problems his whole life. When he was just 37 days old, he started having seizures. He was diagnosed with a brain condition, and from that moment on, he was mute, couldn't speak. And the seizures continued, right? Yeah. Monthly at first, then less often, maybe yearly. But he needed anti-seizure medication every single day. Now, he's 52. The good news is the seizures have stopped. But he still has issues, weak bones, difficulty walking. He needs constant care. His mother, especially, is very involved, helping him make merit daily. So, what's the karmic story here? It sounds complex.
It is complex, and again, incredibly specific in how different actions led to different results. Let's break it down. The muteness. In a past life, he was apparently a very heavy drinker, and when he was drunk, he'd get angry, verbally abusive, speak very harshly, he'd beat his wife, and, critically, he would curse his own parents when they wouldn't give him money for more alcohol.
Cursing his parents.
Yes. That specific act, cursing his parents, is identified as the direct cause of his muteness in this life.
Wow. Okay, what about the other issues? The brain condition, the seizures.
Well, the intellectual disability, the brain condition, that stemmed from the excessive drinking itself. The habit of constantly consuming alcohol led to that particular consequence.
Okay, the alcohol habit.
Right. And the seizures, those had 2 main causes identified. One was the physical fighting he constantly got into when he was drunk. The other was a habit he had of killing fresh fish by smashing their heads to prepare them as snacks to go with his drinking.
Smashing their heads. That violence.
Exactly. So you see, it's not just one thing. It's muteness from cursing parents, intellectual disability from the drinking, seizures from the physical violence, and the specific way he killed the fish. Each action has its own distinct fallout.
That level of detail is just something else. It really maps it out. But he's lived to 52. The seizures stopped. How did things improve? Why the longevity despite all this?
That's a really important part of the story, and it shows the nuance here. In that same past life, as he got older, he did start to change. He gradually drank less, and he eventually stopped killing the fish. He felt remorse, he repented, and he started taking really good care of his parents, although they passed away not long after he started.
So he made amends to some degree.
Yes. And that merit, specifically from genuinely caring for his parents, is identified as the reason why he is now well cared for in this life, despite his conditions. It created that positive return. And of course, the consistent effort by his current family, making merit with him, involving him every day, that definitely helps too, contributing to his stability now.
So there's an interaction between past positive actions and present ones.
Definitely. However, the teacher also pointed out that the residual karma, the leftover impact from the heavy drinking, and especially the cursing of his parents, is incredibly deep. It's predicted to continue influencing his lives for dozens more lifetimes. It's that severe.
Dozens.
But, and this is the hopeful part, by actively involving him in all the merit making they do, even if he doesn't fully grasp it intellectually, his family is helping. They are effectively reducing and lightening that heavy karmic load. They can lessen the duration, shorten that long tail of suffering. It's a powerful way to mitigate things.
That offers a sense of agency, even in the face of such difficult karma.
Powerful. Okay, let's talk about the mother. She went through so much, losing children, raising a child with severe disabilities. The sources say she was particularly devoted to caring for her mute son. What were her karmic connections to all this tragedy within her own family?
The mother's story is a really profound illustration of how actions we might see as minor or even just passive involvement can have really significant, quite unexpected consequences.
How so?
Okay, first, regarding her son, who is mute and intellectually disabled. In that past life where he was the heavy drinker, she had actually supported his drinking habit, not by buying alcohol, but by regularly preparing snacks for him to eat while he drank.
Just making snacks?
Just making snacks. It seems so simple, almost innocent, right? But that act of support, facilitating the harmful habit, created the specific karma for her to end up raising a mentally challenged child in this life.
Wow. That shows how indirectly we can be involved.
It really does. Then for her child who died at 2 years old, her karma there came from something called anumadhana bap. What does that mean?
It essentially means rejoicing in or agreeing with or condoning a bad deed done by someone else.
Okay.
In a past life, she was a very close friend of that primary wife we talked about, the one who slowly poisoned the minor wife's baby out of jealousy.
Right, the friend of the poisoner.
Exactly. She knew what her friend was planning. She knew it was happening. But she didn't try to stop her. She didn't object. Out of friendship, or perhaps not wanting conflict, she basically went along with it, maybe even offered some words of encouragement or agreement.
Oh, no.
And that connection, that Anumatana Bap, meant that the soul of the child who was poisoned was reborn as her child in this lifetime and died at 2 years old, directly mirroring the original tragedy that she had passively condoned.
So just knowing and not acting or quietly agreeing, that created such direct karma for her. That's a heavy lesson. It makes me realize, connecting these dots, how much responsibility we carry, not just for our direct actions, but even for what we tacitly approve of or turn a blind eye to. That's quite profound. Okay, let's try to pull back now and synthesize this. We've gone through some incredibly intense, very specific stories today. What are the main overarching lessons? What are the big takeaways for us from these deep dive sources?
Well, when you look at it all together, several key themes really stand out, I think. First, and maybe most obvious, is the sheer interconnectedness of actions. It hammers home that everything we do, think, or even passively support, no matter how small it seems, like preparing snacks or just knowing about a friend's bad plan, carries real weight. It creates ripples across time, across lifetimes.
Yeah, interconnectedness isn't just a nice idea here, it's concrete. Like the mother's snacks leading to raising her disabled son. That cascade effect is undeniable in these accounts.
Exactly. Second takeaway is the incredible precision of karma. It's not portrayed as some vague cosmic justice. It's shown as being extremely precise. You do X, you get Y. Cursing parents leads to muteness. Heavy drinking leads to intellectual disability. Violence leads to seizures. Poisoning animals leads to stomach cancer. The consequences are directly tailored to the specific nature of the action.
The precision is what really hits home for me, too. It's not just bad stuff happens. It's this direct, almost surgical link. Like you said, poisoning livestock equals stomach issues. That specificity is both fascinating and, frankly, quite sobering.
It is. Third, though, there's the principle of repentance and mitigation. While the karma described is often severe and can last a long time, these stories also show that genuine change of heart and action matter, like the brother reducing his drinking and caring for his parents later in that past life, or the family's current, consistent merit-making. These things can genuinely lessen the intensity and the duration of the karmic result. It doesn't just wipe the slate clean instantly, but it can soften the impact, maybe shorten the time needed to work through it.
That's such a crucial element of hope, isn't it? It means we're not just puppets of the past. Our present actions, our repentance, our efforts now have real agency. They can change the trajectory, like with the brother benefiting from both his past change and his family's current help.
Precisely. And that leads to the fourth point, the power of collective merit. The positive effect when family members or any group unites with good intention to make merit for someone who is suffering, like the family helping the mute brother, is shown to be really significant. Their shared focus and compassionate actions can genuinely help alleviate that person's karmic burden, improving their situation.
It really speaks to the power of community and compassion, doesn't it?
Mhm.
That shared love and positive intention can literally help shift a karmic path, even for someone who might not fully understand what's being done for them.
Absolutely. And finally, pulling it all together is the universal advice emphasized by the great teacher in these sources. Do all kinds of merit dana, which is giving, generosity, sila, morality, ethical conduct, havana, meditation, mental cultivation intensely. Do it consistently, do it with focus, and crucially, no bad deed, however small, should be thought of as inconsequential. Every single thought, every word, every action matters. None are too tiny to avoid creating some kind of ripple.
So after this incredibly detailed journey into cause and effect, what does it all mean for you listening right now? We've seen a world unfold where choices, supportive gestures, even passive agreement from lives past shape the stark realities of this family today. It's a powerful, maybe uncomfortable reminder that our choices carry a weight, a significance that often extends far beyond what we can see in the immediate moment.
And I think that leaves us with a really important question to reflect on. When we consider these profound, sometimes startling ways karma is shown to manifest, what seemingly small choices are you making today, right now, in your daily life? And how might those choices be shaping the landscape of your own tomorrow, or maybe even your many tomorrows to come? It really encourages you to pause and consider your own actions, your thoughts, your words, and the subtle yet potentially powerful ripple effects they might be creating for yourself and everyone around you.